Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. Hi to all of our Facebook Live viewers. I'm Lindsay Schultz, and I'm owner of The Spine. And so today we are going to be speaking with Kimberly Swedeberg. Kimberly is a woman of many talents. She's an educator, she's an author, she's a blogger, a wife, and a mother. And her educational background includes a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate in teaching, which is awesome. I have a master's in business, so I know how hard that is. And all of those are in teaching people with severe disabilities. And she devours books, much like I do, and has a deep love for the written word. She enjoys many types of crafts, like paper crafts to sewing to cake and cookie decorating. So you're gonna make me a cake, right? Okay. From what I've known of her for a little while, she has a very infectious laugh, and she laughs at inopportune times, like I do. And she loves to share her knowledge of writing and reading and crafting with others online through her blogging. And two of her books today, the reason that I like them so much, especially Where is My Grandpa, is because it focused on walking two together with the path of grief and loss, and that can be a really hard topic to discuss, and I think that your book does that really, really well. So thank you. So the most important question of all first, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea? My best friend would love you for that. So I'm a coffee person, she's a tea person. Okay, so what would you say is the secret to being a better writer?
Being a reader.
Being a reader?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you say that?
I think the more you read, the more you appreciate the different styles of writing, the different words and descriptions, and the different ways that you can put words together. I just think reading makes you a better writer, and I think writing makes you a better writer. Just sitting down and doing it, and not correcting it, not judging it, just
getting it out. Okay. So do you have a writing routine that you always go through when you start a book, or have an idea for writing?
No, but I do need one. So it's kind of funny. The popcorn book, my son and I wrote together when he was 5, and he's now 17. So we kind of put it on the shelf.
I love that.
Waited a number of years until I found it illustrated that I loved. This book, Where's My Grandpa? My daughter was at a soccer tournament, and I could not sleep. And the idea popped in my head, and I sat up the entire night writing it.
Oh, wow.
So I need to establish a routine. I need to schedule it on my calendar. I need to find a quiet place and just do it. I just haven't yet.
I definitely understand that. So you said it's important to be a reader. Do you have a favorite book?
Wow. I have a lot of favorites. That's a really good question.
I know that's like asking you which is your favorite child.
I know, and I know which one would say she was. But, gosh, I don't know. I love Gone with the Wind, but that was because my mom and I watched it together every year growing up and read the book together, so I love that one. I really love Somerset Maugham's of Human Bondage.
Who's that by?
Somerset Maugham.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just a really good story, and it has characters that I kind of identify with, the characters that are a little different and maybe don't fit in. I love the whole series. The first one was Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie. The whole series with, I think it's Flavia Deluce is the girl in it, and she's a real young girl, and she is a chemist. And I love Friedrich Bachmann, the Swedish author. Just really different.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now growing up, did you realize immediately you wanted to be a a writer? Was that something that you kind of realized over time as you got older?
I knew I always wanted to be a teacher, and I think I always was a good writer.
Okay.
I was not a good test taker, and I was not necessarily a great student, but writing always was very natural for me. So
Sure.
any tests or any even standardized tests, I was always the strongest in that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess I did know that would be somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you ever get writer's block? And if so, like, how do you deal with that? Because I know that's a common thing among writers.
Yes. So there's a series of stories that I want to write, and I'm stuck. And
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I know I kind of have two directions that it's going, and I'm not really sure. I kind of feel like the characters will tell me eventually where they want to go, but I think I either put it aside, at least for a day or a week,
Sure.
pick it back up,
Sure.
look at it with fresh eyes. There's some research that I need to do for the story, and that's something I can do aside from the creative writing part. So I can do that. Maybe I'll write a new one and think of another topic. So that's right now that works for me. So
How do you get your ideas?
well, I was never a typical student growing up, and I don't know that I've ever thought along the same lines as other people. I don't know, my ideas seem sometimes to be a little out there, and
Sure.
I think that's what makes me more creative.
Okay.
And so sometimes the ideas are based on an experience I've had. Like I had, as a special educator, I've had a lot of students, I've had students die in my classroom, I've had students die at home, and one of the things I found was that as adults, we're scared to talk about dying and death, and so we use other words, we use euphemisms, and kids don't understand that. Kids with disabilities don't understand that. So this one was really written kind of with my children in mind and my students in mind. So that one, and then the other series that I'm starting right now is based on one of my Chinese students.
Okay.
And she is just the sweetest girl, and we have been such good friends. We say we're each other's best friend. She's 8.
I love that.
I know, she's so precious. And so this next series is us going on adventures together and learning about cultures. And so I'm doing the research around where we're going so that I can present that in the story. So some of it's just based on people I know, and I just tweak it a little,
Okay. I love that. I love that. So it comes from like your current experiences and that stuff. Okay. What advice would you give to other writers who are working on their first book and kind of struggling?
I would say just do it, just write, find a quiet place, and don't let all the voices in your head tell you not to do it. Just, and your story may start one way and may end a different way, and that's okay. I generally don't put a title on anything until I have a really good grasp of where the story's going.
Okay.
Because sometimes I think when I've titled a book or titled something I've written, and then I write to the title instead of writing the story.
Right.
So I try not to put a title on it. I don't worry about misspellings or grammar or anything. I just try and get it down and just do it. Just do it.
Have you ever written something and then gone back and reread it and, like, this is not what I wanted to write, or, this is not where I thought this was going?
Yeah, and sometimes it just maybe write a new paragraph and take it in another direction, and then you can always go back and change it at some point. And maybe there's an extra adventure in the story, or maybe there's, I know my dissertation was actually like 304 pages or so.
Okay.
and at various points in that story, I got off and I read and I was like, yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you've got 2 books right now. And you said you're working on a 3rd one.
Yeah, I'm working on the series. So the first of the series with Sophia, and she always called me Teacher Kimberly, so it's gonna be Sophia and Teacher Kimberly. And then I'm also writing one. I want it to be young adult, and it is focusing on addiction.
Okay.
And I want to get kids before the addiction
Sure.
takes hold. And I'm actually collaborating with my brother on that.
Okay.
And we're working together to put together a story. And I pretty much said, you decide the ending. Do you live or do you die? Does the addiction take you or do you overcome it? And so right now that's the plan with that one.
Okay.
We'll see, but
Right.
it's going to be looking at like a really raw, ugly look at addiction. And I don't think we talk about that enough either.
Right. So your point with a lot of your books, it seems like you're trying to take a really hard topic and find ways to discuss it in a way that's not quite so scary.
Right.
I love that.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic. I agree with you that there are sometimes it's really hard to discuss something.
Yeah.
And books are a great way to like broach that topic,
Yes.
and I think that's a really good tool. So I totally applaud that.
Thank you.
So I know Popcorn, you said your son was little.
Yes.
And now he's 17.
Yes.
Where is my grandpa now? How long did that take you to write that one?
So I really wrote it that one night I couldn't sleep. And it was almost like I just kept thinking to all of the euphemisms that I've heard throughout my life, whether it's in movies or TV or just real life, and how confusing they are. And so I got that all written, and then I sent it to the illustrator, Harry, and he just blew it out of the park. He was amazing, and I think it's funny that this kind of looks like my son a little bit, but I didn't even tell him. And so this was finished and published before that was not printed. Yes, yeah. So it was kind of funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So that one really just needed to be told, I guess.
Yeah. Now the popcorn, that's just kind of what brought that on with you and your son.
Well, we love popcorn, first of all.
Right.
Yes, we can live off of that. And we were just making up rhymes one day. And we would always try and outdo each other, and so it was like, I love you more than popcorn, I love you more than chocolate, I love you more than, and so the popcorn one stuck. And we just started making up rhymes, and I wrote them all down, and literally set it on the shelf, and just didn't, and I had recipes in there for all of the things that went with it.
I saw that. I really loved that.
Well, and so it's something that parents can do with their kids or whatever, but it sat for a long, long time. And when we first wrote it, I searched not very hard. I contacted a friend of mine who's an author, his publisher, and he said, children's area books, it's overrun, it's hard to get into, and I didn't have it illustrated, and he said the story was strong but not strong enough. And self-publishing was not really as common or respected, and I just set it aside and just sat there.
And now you came back to it. I think it's a great book. And I heard you say that self-publishing wasn't very respected.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why? Like, is that a general opinion, or is that just?
I kind of feel like it was a general opinion. I do know that the one editor that I talked to, he said you might want to go the self-publishing route and just promote it. And I don't know, but it was funny. I was reading a book, and it was a book that took place in a bookshop in a feel like that was kind of the general feeling. And it was you through Edgar and you got your advance and
Sure.
you know, so I feel like now it's a lot easier to self-publish.
Sure.
And they're actually thought of as in the book. It's not just
Yeah.
the diary that you're putting out there.
Right. Okay, yeah. Now, so our author of the month last month was Janine Hernandez, and you know her as
Yes.
well. So she's the one who's helped you get yours published.
Yes.
So
She was trying to get her book publishing academy started. and
Right.
So she had asked. She had just put out an ad for some information, and she said, if you're interested, let me know. So I contacted her, and she called me. We connected, and one of the things was that when you're finished with this, you come out with a published book. And
Right.
I was like, you know what? I got this one. I'm gonna work on
Sure,
it. Hold it off
sure.
the shelf, and there it is.
So
yeah,
what was that like working with her?
It was great. She's really good. The videos are really easy to follow. That she has.
Yeah.
Just, go through.
Sure.
She is extremely accessible. She has amazing resources, I guess,
Sure.
that she brings forward and
Sure.
shares, and it's just
That's awesome. So fun question. If you could spend a day with an author that you admire, who would it be? Oh, I think it would be great.
I mean, it would, but I don't know if I want to get
Yeah. I understand
I'm a
that.
little afraid of that, but
Sure.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
If you have a question or an author that you would suggest, definitely post it in the Facebook group and we'll definitely talk about that. I would do Sarah Addison Allen because she's my favorite author ever of all time. You know, little book plug there. So when you finish a book, what do you do to celebrate the book?
I don't know that I have some. Really, I mean, I jump up and down and do my own little things, and I share it with my kids. and
Sure,
cheer
sure.
them on. I don't know that I've celebrated them though.
Well,
I
you
should.
should.
I should.
That's a big accomplishment, especially because you've got 2 published books now,
Yeah.
and you've got a whole series you're working on. I mean, you've got a lot coming down the pipe. You should absolutely come up with a routine for
I
celebration.
should. That's a really good idea. I need to do that. I think Janine actually talks about that too.
Does she? Okay.
You need to celebrate and probably celebrate each step.
Yeah, because I know that when I worked for her as an intern, she had me, she talked about those steps. So, and yeah. So I know, like everybody's got that issue that they stumble when they're writing. So, like Superman, what is your kryptonite when you write?
I mean, it's probably my children. Because, I love you guys really. But,
Yeah, you should see the look on her children's faces.
but it's okay, mommy's in class, mommy's writing, it doesn't matter. The door's gonna fly open, they're
Sure.
gonna come in there asking me anything, and then it gets me off, and then I just, I
Your brain kind of stumbles.
So it probably is my beautiful, lovely cheers.
Yeah.
Probably.
Do you have pets that come in and interrupt you?
Yeah, so we have 2 cats now, and one is the size of us, and she's huge. And she just comes in, and she just busts through the door, and just come in and sit and walk on the keyboard.
Right.
My youngest now has a dog, and she likes to bring the dog upstairs and jump
Of
on the
course.
bed and then licks me, and
Sure.
yes.
Sure.
The fish doesn't bother me.
Gotcha. Okay. So I know I've asked you a kind of a version of this question, but what is the most valuable piece of information that another writer has given you to kind of improve you as a writer? Stephen King actually, now that she says that, he has a really, really good book. And
and it's his life as a writer, like tips that he can give
Oh,
as a
I've seen
writer.
that book.
And it is so good. I can't think of the name right now,
But
it's
I've seen,
so
I know
good.
exactly which one you're talking
So
about.
that one has some really good. That one has some really good tips for writing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. So I had a student once,
Okay.
and I was teaching her to be a future teacher.
Sure.
And the one thing she said to me was, people who read are smart.
Sure.
And that just stuck with me because it's true. People who read,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they learn things, they experience things. And so, again, you become a better writer.
Sure.
Even though it was, like, she wasn't even trying to give me advice on writing. I just
Right.
feel like that was
Okay.
really good advice.
Is there a novel out there in the world right now that you think is underappreciated?
I'm sure there are lots of them. I'm sure there are lots of them. And it's funny because there are books now that I've read that are movies and I didn't know they were movies. Like Where the Crawdads Sing.
I
didn't even
love
know
that
it was a
book
movie.
so much.
So good.
I cannot wait for that movie to come out.
Yes. There's another book that I just read called The Couple Next Door.
Yes. I have the book. I haven't read it
It's
yet.
amazing.
Though. Is
That's
it?
amazing. And then there's another one Behind Closed Doors. Oh my gosh, those are so good. And they are, but I guess The Couple Next Door is a movie too. So
Yeah. Is it?
I think so. But if it's not, it should be. But that is one of the best in terms of keeping you on the edge of your seat,
Sure.
wanting to read,
Sure. Sure.
you know, that. And horrible story. But the child called It.
Yes, I know
That
that
whole
book.
series. Oh my gosh, that was so. Literally one night I read those because I could not stop.
Yeah. I haven't read them just because I don't think that I can read them.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Is there a book that like you started out not liking and then as you read along, it got better for you? You know, because you'll start out with a book thinking, I don't know if I'm going to like this book.
Yes.
And then you go through reading it and then by the end of it, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yes, there are, and I can't. I know there was one just on my mind, but I can't think of it now. I know that there have been, and I'm sure that there's some that I'm not.
Sure, sure.
But they just start out
So slow, yeah.
like get to the meat.
Yeah, and then once it gets there, it gets there.
Yes, yes. I'll have to put some thought into that because I know there are some.
I know you guys just came in late. Are you guys interested in asking our author any questions? Any questions for anybody here?
Do you have any questions?
No? Okay.
They know everything.
No, right? So let's see. We're about 5 more minutes of our interview time. So, what book do you see that you would like? Have you read that you would love to have turned into a movie that hasn't been yet?
Yeah, that's good. Well, I think that, and it might be a movie that I just don't know about, but that whole series, the Flavia Deleuze series with Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, and Eric Bradley, I think, is the author, British author.
Okay.
If those aren't, they should be.
Okay.
They're fabulous.
Are they?
They're
Okay.
so good. Now, I think it's the fourth one
Uh-huh.
is not as good. Not
Right.
as good, but oh my gosh, they're so good.
Right.
They're so well written, and the character is brilliant. She's just this little 13-year-old girl who's a chemist, and it's really good. If that one hasn't, it should be.
Do you think that the series that you're getting ready to write with Sophia, yes, sorry. Can you see that being like a television series or a movie down the road?
I kind of like the Magic School Bus or that,
Right,
like that kind
right.
of thing. I think it could be. I think
Okay.
it could be because, but instead of from educational, but more from the cultural standpoint.
Right,
You know?
right.
So a little different, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read it. I'm very excited.
Me too.
Well, I want to thank you very, very much for coming down here today and being on camera with us and being here with the Spine Bookshop. Hopefully we're going to have an author every month, either virtually or in person like Kimberly here. You can get her books, Popcorn, and Where is My Grandpa, at the Spine's Bookshop. If you go to the Facebook page, you'll be able to get the book. Or you can go to thespinebookshop.com. They're listed there as well. And Kimberly, thank you so much. Anytime tonight, if you guys have questions for Kimberly, if you'll post it on the link to the video that's on Facebook, she'll be happy to answer. We'll definitely do that. And thank you guys so much for viewing, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. So hopefully, okay, hang on. So we have Teresa says great job, and my husband Adam is watching, but I can't bring them on camera.